Good morning, I'm Dr. Velasquez, Health Officer for Spokane County, and today we're going to have a conversation about a very important and complex subject, which happens to be one of my most favorite subjects, which is food. Now, we all know that in Spokane we have the advantage of having so many options as it pertains to food, wonderful food. We have wonderful restaurants and all kinds of other options. And if you know anything about food, you know that if you have a restaurant, for example, it's an extremely complex organization with lots of moving parts and lots of people doing important jobs that are required for the quality of that product. You know, front of the house, back of the house, expediters, chefs, all of these wonderful things. Well, the same thing applies to the other side of food, which is food safety, because we want to make sure that the product is wonderful and is also safe, and that's where we come in. So today I'm joined by two of our food safety technical advisors, and obviously the title tells you they are engaged in food safety, Alison Wiley and Amy Soule, both of whom you've met in previous shows. So I want to say to them, thank you for coming. And we have a few questions, because we're getting to the season where everybody's going to go somewhere to eat or pick something up or participate in something. Now, over the last several weeks, there have been a lot of questions about some of the realignments and requirements that the City Council has made to specifically food truck permit requirements. So I want to make sure that we can tell people a little bit what does that mean for SRHD and what does it mean for the food truck. So I'm going to ask Alison first.
Yes. So we have been getting a lot of questions about this. So within Spokane County, there are a lot of organizations that play a role in making sure that everyone is permitted and making sure everyone is safe. You'll have to reach out to the fire department to get HVAC systems certified. Labor and industries make sure the facilities are safe for employees to work. Here at SRHD, we're making sure that the food is safe for the patrons. So when the city changed their ordinance, this was an ordinance primarily revolving around parking and like being a courteous neighbor to people downtown. So this change in ordinance does not affect the food safety aspect, which is what we do here at the Health District. So we will continue permitting mobile units. We'll continue inspecting mobile units, just like all of our food establishments here in the county.
Wonderful. So I'm glad you mentioned the multiple agencies that are involved, because as we mentioned, food safety is a complex issue of which we do have one piece, but there's other components. So you talked about food safety and what we do. So who decides what the safety measures are that need to be met by the permitted vendors? And I want to ask Amy that.
Yeah, Spokane Regional Health District follows the Washington State Retail Food Code, and the Retail Food Code outlines the definition of a food establishment and when a food establishment needs to obtain a permit. Some of the factors that are included in that would be serving food to the general public, serving refrigerated foods, or advanced preparation. And the Washington State Retail Food Code is followed by all local health jurisdictions in Washington State.
Okay, so we just added one more agency to the many that we had mentioned. I think that is important because we do have to follow those rules and make sure those are being enforced and applied. And good news is I know you guys do a really good job of doing that. But let me ask you a question, since I mentioned you guys do a good job of doing that. What does your team do to make sure food trucks get the appropriate permits and can get through it so they can go and sell their products?
Yeah. So at SRHD, food trucks, they're going to follow the same process as our brick and mortars, our caterers. It all starts with a plan review packet where we ask to look over their menu and their food prep steps. Then we look over their equipment. We make sure that the equipment they have actually supports that food being prepared in a healthy way and their business being successful. So it's a very big picture overview of a business. Once we've kind of gone back and forth on paper and we've determined that this business can operate in a safe way for the community, we go and do an in-person inspection. At that time, we evaluate the equipment and we provide any education to kind of get them off on the right foot. After that, we continue supporting our food trucks with educational visits upon request and routine health inspections where our inspectors always show up and provide great advice and walk them through the process to make sure they're successful.
Wonderful. So let me go back to a couple of things. You mentioned we look at the menu, and not because we're going to order.
Yes.
We're looking at the menu to identify what food items are included in that menu. And then you mentioned equipment. because certain types of foods are going to need certain types of equipment. What would be an example of that?
Yeah, it's like a really good example would be if someone is making something in their food establishment, let's say with fresh produce.
Okay.
In order to serve fresh produce, we want to wash it first because produce comes from outside. It comes from the ground. There's natural soil bacteria. So we want to make sure we wash all of that off and make it safe. So a piece of equipment you have to have is a dedicated food preparation sink.
Got it.
Yep, it's a sink just for washing produce. Some people may thaw meats in there. And this way, we're not washing produce in the same place we're washing dishes. You know, we don't want that soil bacteria contaminating our clean dishes. Another example may be a walk-in cooler. If you're an establishment with a really high volume of food that you're cooking in advance and then cooling down for later use, a walk-in cooler is going to be a lot better than a reach-in refrigerator because of the fan and the air circulation. Helps everything get down to the right temperature in the appropriate time frame.
Wonderful. And obviously, anyone that is thinking about starting a food truck service, they can call us. We'll be happy to take them through the process and make sure they're following all the appropriate rules for safety of the public. And I'm sure that food truck vendors do want to make sure that the public is safe. So
Absolutely.
So let me, I mentioned we want to make sure everybody's safe. I'm going to have a question that is kind of interesting because let's say I'm a community member. And I'm not an expert like you are on food safety or any of these other things, but as a community member, how can I make sure that the food truck that I'm going to go and get some food for really has met the safety requirements that you just discussed?
Yeah, so all food trucks that are licensed through SRHD are issued a permit when they either renew their permit or when they originally get their permit. And they should have a copy available either for review or displayed in their mobile unit. If community members are at all concerned about whether or not a mobile food unit has a permit to operate, they are welcome to reach out to Spokane Regional Health District, or they can ask the operator of the food truck directly to see a copy of their permit.
Okay, so that's it's okay to say, hey, I don't see your permit. Do you have one?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and actually I've seen a few of these food trucks and others, and they have their permit displayed, like right over here when you come in, so you can see it. And I think that is very important because that will reassure the member of the public that that establishment has gone through all of the appropriate requirements and meets all the appropriate requirements, so you should feel very confident in getting food there because everything has been followed.
Yeah,
right?
and we, like you said, owning a restaurant's really complex. Owning any food establishment or business has a lot of moving parts, all those different agencies. So it's quite a process people go through to obtain the correct permits to operate legally and safely. So display I'm proud.
Yeah.
You worked hard to earn that permit, post it up for the community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful. So, well, that is true because it is a complex business, and I know we do work with hundreds.
Yeah,
right?
thousands.
Thousands, which is why we have so much great food in Spokane. But our job is to make sure that it's safe. We don't comment on the flavor or anything.
No taste testing.
No taste testing. Okay. We just talk about the safety, which is very important because we want to go and enjoy.
Yes.
The last thing you want to do is go to a food establishment and then don't feel good after that, which would be terrible. We'll feel bad. Any suggestions, any comments as we get into warmer climate, everybody's going to go outside, we're all going to be doing things. Any suggestions you have for the general public, things to be mindful of?
Yeah, just like we mentioned, permits are displayed. You can request permits. We always support going to our permitted vendors who go through all these efforts to make sure the food is safe. If you are out in the summer and have any foodborne illness concerns or even general safety concerns about operation, we do have our website, FINS, the Foodborne Illness Notification System, and you can go to that system easily and report any health concerns, safety concerns. Those get right to our team within a business day, and then we're able to start addressing that. Like we said, we have thousands of restaurants out in the community and 10 of us, so having those extra eyes and ears is a great thing.
Wonderful. I'm glad you mentioned that. And can you repeat the acronym of that place that
Oh,
you can
yeah.
go to?
Sorry, it's FINS, so the Foodborne Illness Notification System, and you can access that through the DOH website, posted on the slides.
Wonderful. So, well, I do appreciate you coming and clarifying for everyone, and I do want to say thank you to all of our partners in the food industry that we work with, because we do know it's a tough job.
Very much.
And I'm glad you said if you work hard for that permit, so display proudly like a nice frame,
Yeah,
smiley
absolutely.
face somewhere, that would be wonderful. Actually, I've seen a lot of them framed very nicely. by the
Yeah,
way,
very
so.
nicely framed.
And how often do they have to renew those permits?
Every year.
Every year, okay. So it's not like I get it now and then I'm good for the next 20. So every year, like many other things that you have to get recertified or
Yeah.
reevaluated every year, which is typical of most licensed organizations, whether it's,
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals or food. So just remember that they will have an expiration date. So
They will.
it's one of the
And that
things that we
gives
need
us
to be mindful of.
That gives us an opportunity to review their menu every year if they have any new menu additions, any equipment changes, and then to make sure they still have an active commissary kitchen.
Okay, and if I'm a restaurant and I'm thinking about changing something, I can just contact our food safety department and say, hey, these are my thoughts. Can you help me figure this out? Is that correct?
Yes, they can contact the food safety program or they can contact their assigned inspector directly.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
We
wow.
keep inspectors on a rotating basis dedicated to answering the phones and emails every day, just so even if you don't have a permit, you want to get started or maybe get some information, we have people here to answer those questions.
Wonderful. Wow, sounds, that's good customer service if I have anything to
Yes.
say about that. So we appreciate that. So I want to say both of you and the team upstairs, not just both of you, but I know the team upstairs is always out there working with our partners in the community. I want to say thank you to our partners in the community, all of our food vendors and restaurants and others that work very hard to make sure that we have great, delicious food that is safe to eat and take home. Which is one of the reasons why Spokane is a destination, and we're just selected again, one of the best places to retire, and quality of life. A lot of it has to do with food too. So congratulations to all. We want to say thank you to all. And if you have any questions, feel free to call the team, contact the team. They're nice, great people. They'll be happy to help you anyway, in any way, shape, or fashion that they can, because our goal is that you succeed.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Our goal is you produce the best and highest quality product so the community can enjoy it. So our goal is your success. So please feel free to contact anytime if you have any questions. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, belated Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all. That was last Sunday, but we were not here on Sunday. We had Mother's Day issues to deal with. So I'm going to say thank you to Allison and Amy again, our team at SRG, all of our friends, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. So be safe, be well, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.